Have you ever been hurt? Have you ever had to deal with hurt? Have you ever had to overcome hurt? In your lifetime, in your experiences? Because I want to talk about a particular hurt today. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to do something. We thank God for you all who are consistently sharing with us and think about it. But we'd like some comments from you guys. Would you mind giving us some comments so that we have some frame of reference as to, are we being viable? Are we talking about some things that you like? We appreciate you listening, but we need some comments. So would you mind doing that? And if you never subscribed to it, do that also. That would be an absolute blessing to us. So we're going to talk about hurt, but we're going to talk about a particular hurt. It's a term I hear all the time that people hold very dearly, and they give it a lot of credence, and I'm not sure if all of it is justified. And they call it church hurt. And they say, well, I quit going to church because I got church hurt. So we were looking it up, and it says that church hurt is a newer term referencing the pain, sadness, emotional scarring, or abuse experienced in a church context. Now watch this. Church hurt stems from experiencing someone else abusing their power. A church has power to gather, encourage, and heal God's beloved people. On the positive side, church can help you encourage yourself and others not to quit on the church. Well, here's where my problem comes in. There's this term called church hurt. I've been church hurt, so now I don't go to church because I've been church hurt. I guess my problem with that is you do realize that this institution called church is made up of flawed people that's saved by the grace of God. Flawed people that are growing, flawed people that are learning how to do better, how to be better, how to approach people better, how to love better, but flawed people who love God but are struggling sometimes in their own right. Everybody in the church doesn't have it all together. Everybody in the church is not perfect. Nobody in the church is perfect, but everybody in the church is not growing at the same pace. So whoever you may have run into, or whatever situation you may have run into, be careful to judge the entire institution of the church because of the flaws of certain individuals. Church hurt. I guess I'm wondering, why does it get so much credence? Because you've been hurt in other areas of your life. You ever been hurt on your job? You ever been mistreated? You ever been passed up for a promotion? You ever been disrespected in front of your colleagues by a supervisor who just didn't have it together, but you didn't quit the job? Because you had an objective, you had a purpose, you have a family to take care of, you have something that's important, that's related to this job. Well, what about the importance of that relationship with Christ that's related to the church? That we're so quick to give up simply because an individual hurt us, so we use this profound statement called church hurt. But what about the job? What about relationships that you've been in for 10 and 15 years, constantly disrespected, abused, and mistreated? But you labored in it because there was a purpose in it for you. You loved the individual. There were children involved. You were emotionally tied. You didn't quit. And you didn't just say, oh, okay, I've been relationship hurt. I've been job hurt. I've been hurt in the community. My neighbor hurt me, but you didn't move. I guess I'm asking you, please don't judge the institution of the church based on somebody in the church who hurt you which is simply another human being, flawed, saved by grace, but yet still struggling in their love for God. Now, the Bible, this is not new. You know, this church hurt thing, this is not new. In Matthew, people, 18:15 to 17, Matthew 18:15 to 17, people have been hurting each other in the church for centuries because we're dealing with human beings. And I just want to go here and we'll be finished. If your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he listens to you, you have gained your brother. But if he does not listen, take one or two others along with you, that every charge may be established by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. If he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to them, let him be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. Okay, there's always been friction in the church because the church has always been people. So what I'm asking you is, can we also look to the scripture that says, forgive your brother? That also says, forgive the person who has hurt you, and don't define the entire institution of the church based on a pastor, a deacon, a trustee, or a member who hurt you in a particular church, whether it was one individual or one small group. If we're going to define the entire institution of the church by this church hurt, then why don't we do it with job hurt, relationship hurt, neighborhood hurt, or terms of that nature? Isn't it at least something that you could think about?